Hi guys, how are you?
Doing great.
Can you guys tell me a little bit about what you guys did on this film?
Go ahead. I sit awkwardly in a chair.
I read a treatment by Mr. Robert Kirkman in a script by Ryan Ridley, and directed the movie and produced the movie.
And I wrote that treatment by Robert Kirkman.
I'm assuming you are Robert Kirkman.
That would be the assumption.
Oh my God. Scooby-Doo reveal. Absolutely stunning. How do you translate the language of comic books into a film script?
Gosh, I don't know. It can be done any number of different ways. I mean, this movie in particular, not based on a comic book, if you can believe it, rare these days. But yeah, I don't know. Comic books are still images that tell a story, and when you're adapting that kind of stuff, you got to figure out a way to make it work when it's moving, which can sometimes be difficult.
Yeah, there's like a tone. I think there's sort of sort of like a comic book tone that you kind of can kind of draft off of that makes it feel that way. And I think that's also like like sometimes like the color palette and that sort of thing. I mean, you're kind of influenced by those things. I mean, for Renfield, the big influence for me was the Basil Gogos images that he was an artist who did the Famous Monsters covers, Famous Monsters magazine. And they're very, garish and saturated colors, and that was something that was kind of important to me because I knew that it would help our film play both in the horror space as well as comedically. So I wanted something kind of like big and bold and expressive.
And that was something that really excited me about Chris's approach because most movies these days look kind of the same. I feel like the medium is not being pushed visually as much as it could be. There's a lot of bright spots out there now, but there's a lot of gray movies out there.
Yeah, a lot of gray or yellow, yeah.
And it's like, throw a light bulb on there sometimes.
Lighting, please. So how do you handle scripting comedy versus allowing actors to improv on set?
Sometimes, first off, you got to start with a script. You came there, everyone's prepared, and you got to get that. I like to shoot a lot of takes. I like to try things, and I like actors that like to try things. So I cast people who are kind of game to play around, whether it's Nick Holt and Nick Cage, or whether it's Awkwafina or Ben Schwartz or, Brandon Scott Jones. That bring people who are game to play and want to have fun. And so I do, after a couple of takes, we do try to throw different ideas in or cut certain things or whatever. And then sometimes with all of that information that we learn in those takes when we're doing that stuff, sometimes we come back around to the script and it actually kind of reinforms people about what the meat of the scene and what we're doing in the scene. So it can be kind of a fun exercise to do, and you kind of it pays dividends for both the scripted version as well as kind of finding new stuff or nuances.
I think actors should follow the script, or they should.
In unsurprising news, the writer.
Every now and then, an actor will come up to me on set and they'll say, "I have a note," and I say, "I'll get back to you," and I hide.
You're just like, I have a complaint box. It's right here. That's a trash can. No, it's not. It's a complaint
Circular complaint box. It's not a box.
Speaking of doing a lot of takes, this film has a lot of practical effects that don't necessarily lend themselves well to doing a lot of takes.
As the studio reminded us every day. Look, you sort of have to make a deal on some level where with the crew and with the studio when you're doing something practically, where you do the first two and you just sort of agree that the first two takes are going to be stuff that you don't shoot it practically at all. You say if we're going to learn something, and if we nail it, we'll add the blood, or we'll add whatever the effect is digitally. And obviously working with a visual effects supervisor like Jamie Price, somebody who can do all of these things, is really important. And then on the third take and the fourth take, then you get to do the big blood explosions and that sort of thing. So that's kind of at least a way for us to be able to get through the day and make sure that everybody also feels like they can get through the day, because you want everyone to feel like they can accomplish what we set out to do.
Yeah, it's nice in a world where you know that you have that digital augmentation like in your back pocket if you're going to need it, or what level you're going to need it at, and you can still try the practical stuff.
What was your favorite practical effect in the film?
I mean, obviously the arm being ripped off. I don't want to steal any thunder, but the arms being ripped off was was in the script. Something we were really, is the thing we got really excited about. And they rips off the arms and starts beating people up with their own arms and everything else. That was great. But Christian Tinsley, who did all the makeup in general, but also specifically the special makeup effects, he built this face rip thing that I thought was just like really, really great. And there was one that we cut out. It's gonna be on the deleted scenes of the movie, but we did a bit where Renfield disarms a guy and then rips his hand skin off and then throws his hand skin back into the guy's face.
It's like a flesh glove.
Yeah.
Degloving. It's a thing.
Yeah, we did it all in one take, which was kind of a literally the whole thing we were able to do in one take. It was kind of cool. So that'll be the deleted scenes.
So one of the things I noticed was there was a little nod to Raimi in the film. Yeah. I'm wondering, can you sort of talk about Kyle Raimi?
Yeah, a few little nods. I mean, obviously the tone of it is very splatstick. It's very Evil Dead. Yep. It's as far as a studio will let somebody make an Evil Dead 2 type movie, I think. But yeah, I mean, I wanted, there's lots of little shout outs to filmmakers. Todd Browning, obviously, the Captain Browning, and Kyle's last name is Raimi, and I wanted just Raimi up there because Sam Raimi is a big filmmaker for me, and I think he perfected that tone. I mean, Evil Dead 2, among others. I mean, I'm a huge Sam Raimi fan of all of his movies, but yeah, he's. I mean, if you look at all of his Spider-Man movies, everything that he's done. The Gift, like there's so many films, Drag Me to Hell, like everything, he's just so good and tight, really tight storytelling. Like
for Love of the Game.
Yeah, for Love of the Game. Like there's just stuff that just like, I just really love his command of the actors and storytelling.
A Simple Plan.
Simple Plan.
We're just gonna keep naming Sam Raimi movies.
Dark Man.
Crime Wave.
Darkman. Crime Wave.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Yeah,
it's remarkable that like Evil Dead 2 is this classic that still feels absolutely fresh and original, and to have an Evil Dead 2 feel to our movie, and have it be like this is like a modern zany, like we're considered to be pushing the envelope because we have all these different genres like merging, and it's something that Sam was doing 30 years ago.
Yeah.
So.
How do you balance camp and comedy without going too far?
You just copy Sam Raimi.
Yeah, you just gotta be Sam Raimi, of course. Well, you guys aren't Sam Raimi. I'm so sorry to bust that out. But how did you guys do it?
We wanted, a lot of it's, with, having great actors who can help ride that line. I mean, Cage is amazing. But you got to kind of push it. I mean, on set, you got to push it. You got to try stuff and see what works, and then editorially, trim back things that go too far and that sort of thing. Because you got to push the envelope. Because if you don't, you'll never be able to explore the breadth of the scene and these relations, these characters, and the tone. You have to kind of push it to see, bend it till it breaks, and then walk it back a little bit.
Yeah, you have to have that realistic core that makes everything work. It's the spine that the story is built on, and that comes from the actors taking it seriously and showing you through their performances that the stakes are real and the drama is real. And so then when the comedy and the horror are mixing around that, there's still this spine that holds it all together.
Yeah. So my last question, how do you think Nick Cage stands up to sort of the history of Dracula adaptations?
Crushes it.
Yeah, I think he's the best. Yeah, he's the best. I mean, he really is. He could play any. You could do a super campy version of Dracula, and Cage would be great at it. You could do a really serious version of Dracula, and Cage could kill it. So, I think he's. I mean, again, I love working with that guy. He's amazing.
Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and check out more io9 videos here on YouTube.